Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's kind of ironic there that Jim was talking about, how things have dropped off, and we, help them getting out there, provide some, train the trainers. We're actually due to COVID, and I'm sure this probably just didn't happen to us in Ohio, but we definitely had a severe loss in interest of training. So, we'll be one of those ones requesting that. But anyhow, Ron and I, we'll work together here with an exercise. It was a research project that went on here in this between the UAS Center and ODOT. So Ron, he provided the equipment as tow trucks and got us a fire service. And what we did was took advantage of not only the use of the UAS in traffic incident management, but to improve our training, we will actually inject a lot of these videos, and we probably have 8 hours worth of training in the type of videos that we actually captured. So what we're going to actually do is most of our presentation is not us just speaking, but we want to show you what we actually captured during this exercise. So with that, Ron, do you have anything before we move on?
No, it was just a great opportunity because we took advantage of funding on the drone project, and they allowed us to basically do a correct STEM event and one that maybe was not quite correct. And then they actually all came back in with cameras and drones and let us film it again at night. So we just have a huge amount of data. They initiated, when we did the first event, they initiated a trip event. So the TMC was able to actually establish a clock. So we have a nice timeline, communication, and it's going to take us just a little bit to get through all that. But I think we have some tremendous visuals and actual data that we'll be able to share with everyone, and that's our goal, to share it with everybody. And it'll be some updated pictures. They gave us a great opportunity.
And actually, the slide that's up right now is actually from that. We used it it was a rural setting, and this is actually one of our drone pictures here up on the slide now. So next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit of overview. Like I just mentioned, we lost instructors due to COVID. We've had some turnover in our office, people in new positions. I do a lot of the training, but down in our traffic management section, we're actually getting a consultant. We're going to go into our regions of the state and actually try to get people to attend TIM meetings within our quadrants of the state, and try to get everybody into the table. Like Jim said, for years now, we've been beating on this and trying to get it, but it's not only nationally, right here just in our states, just getting everybody to the table is still a struggle. And I just want to give you an answer. I don't want to ramble on, but just this past Saturday, I taught a class, and it was a rural fire department, had fire and EMS there, and some DOTs. And during the class, I was asked about the pink signs. So are they effective? And I explained the situation about, yes, they are effective. And during the last 15 minutes of class, they were toned out. And there was a group already on scene, and the chief that was in the class, they radioed back to the station and said that, hey, the chief just ordered them to put the pink signs out. They had not done it before. So, just another section of the state that we was be able to pick up and got somebody involved, and just from the training that we had, we getting the pink signs out there to slow these people down. So, and then also we have done some outreach. We have some governor's support, and you see on the vest there it says OTIM. That is just because it's Ohio Traffic Incident Management. We tailored it to a lot of highest settings, and so anyway, go to the next slide, and you'll hear what our governor has to say to support us.
Hello, I'm Ohio Governor Mike Dewine. Welcome to Ohio Traffic Incident Management, or OTIM. If you're here, I know you're committed to improving traffic incident management in Ohio, so thank you. Thank you for that commitment. OTIM is a planned, coordinated, and multidisciplinary process to clear traffic incidents as safely and as quickly as possible. As first responders, we want you to be safe while you're helping people and saving lives. We all want to reduce the risk of a secondary crash. We certainly don't want you or anyone else to get hurt. Again, thanks for all that you do. We are a stronger, safer Ohio because of you.
So, since he put this out, he just put us out this last fall, and what we are doing is we actually lead this in in each of our classes as a lead-in slide, and then that gives them, how our governor feels, and gives them the feeling of importance of a responder out there and how he's supporting us in the OTIM program. Next slide. Okay, this is actually an overview.
For the last 3 years, we've been working with the state of Ohio and various federal agencies to stand up what we call an unmanned traffic management system. And probably the easiest way to think about this is air traffic control for unmanned systems, or drones, as they're commonly known. It gives drones an understanding of where they are in the airspace, who's around them, and what they can do to essentially safely navigate from A to B, all while giving manned traffic the priority. ODOT is at the forefront of essentially establishing what that infrastructure looks like, how we can scale it, grow it, and incorporate it with existing manned air traffic control systems as well.
So we have a Drive Ohio, and what that is, we have a section that we actually do some unmanned vehicles and autonomous vehicles, and anyhow, they have a research center up there, and it's called the Transportation Research Center, and they actually provided a location for us to actually hold this exercise. But Ohio State University and ODOT teamed together with a research, and we exercised utilizing the drones, and see what the capabilities was. Like I said, we had tethered drones versus our other drones. The tethered drone can stay up, as we know, much longer. The other ones, it was actually a cold day. They lasted about 20 minutes in the air. At one time, we had 6 drones in the air. So as you see on there, that's who all was involved in it. We had ODOT operations, ODOT planning and research or communications, the ODOT UAS Center, Ron's company, Pinetree Towing, the OSU Aerospace Research Center, Highway State Highway Patrol, the Antrim Fire Department, and again, the Transportation Research Center. Ron, you have anything else to add on this?
No, it's just the drones are it's very forward-thinking, and the drones are able to have radiation detection. In this case, the drones are able to read license plates, so they give total situational awareness to the responders. Law enforcement potentially knows who they're dealing with before they get there. And when you just think about getting the road open, if they can get plate readers and read plates, a lot of the crash reports can already be partially filled out before law enforcement gets there, and then they can basically enhance that. We can have data pulled off some of them plates to also help the fire departments with the data collection they have. And then these things can literally be dispatched from almost anywhere and flown remotely. So, some of the forward thinkers are thinking these things could be strategically placed in hot zones. They could be in the back of a pickup or a trunk and be mobily dispatched to whoever gets there. and it's really amazing what they could do. And we'll see another slide here in a minute where they can transmit the image to the cell phone. So all the responders, anyone with a smartphone, will also have a heads up before they get there. I mean, I think it could have a huge impact to help get the road open.
Okay, next slide. Okay, our objectives, they only had the 2-lane road, so we provided a realistic secondary crash in a rural setting. And what we did is, in the morning, we did everything, hopefully as correct as we could. Unfortunately, we had to push this back to our weather of being able to fly the drones. So we lost some of our participants, but we was able to get the point across and enough to be able to hold the exercise. So we'll go through a series of videos here, and then we'll make some comments. Like I say, at one time we had 6 of these drones in the air actually shooting it. I know this wouldn't be a real life scenario, but it's actually give us all the different angles of the accident.
We had also set up a casualty in front of the road being blocked, and the drones were able to let the first responders know that they had a potential patient that they would not be able to see when they arrived on scene because it was on the other side of the casualty. And so that was something unique that it was able to help with.
Okay, this here video that's going to be it's playing here now. This actually, it's being streamlined into our traffic management center. If you look kind of up in the top center of your page, he has that because he's still monitoring his day-to-day traffic in the areas he's got to cover. But you see in the top center the accident that we have out there, which was able to be live streamed in from our UAS, which will be huge on if we have a huge accident where we need to dispatch out any other resources or to let personnel know what way they need to go in to a certain accident to reduce any kind of delay. There you can see in the big screen TV there was on at the end on the right that we focused on that area right there to the right-hand side. Okay, these are just some pictures of just rolling in on scene. Our fire department coming in, turn his wheels, and then coming out and checking the scene. This is stuff that we'll use during our, that we can incorporate in our TIM training program. So it just gives it more of a realistic and approach, I think, to the training.
We ran this actually in real time once we got everything set up. And the other crazy thing or different was the crash was actually detected by an autonomous vehicle. So an autonomous vehicle was in the queue, and you'll see we had the road blocked and we had a queue established with traffic backup. And then as we proceeded through, at some point, and we may not have all that, be able to show it all, the wreckers would have repositioned the semi-truck after this car was removed so that we could relieve pressure off the queue and get one lane open. And all that video and stuff is going to be able to help us, I think, communicate better to other first responders the importance of trying to give a lane when you can.
So you have your fire. We have the fire going and inspecting the vehicles, checking, for casualties. And like I say, we're just giving you an overview now, but, this year we're just showing where we have our the highway patrol. One of the things we did, when we was showing some of the mistakes is we had the fire truck rolling up too close to the scene where it's not a buffer area. Just the things that, you see a lot of common mistakes that may happen out at a scene. We're trying to correct that, showing the bad versus this is the way you should do it.
And the trooper that was there, he actually went with a crash report. We actually have video and pictures of him taking measurements. There was communication on the radio of him giving the tow company, permission to move the vehicles. It was trying to show the the cooperation amongst the responding agencies.
This is actually Ron and I were explaining what the process was, and then here we are. This slide, this little short video here. This is us showing what we did was come in there at night. We showed too much lighting, too little lighting, high-vis vest versus no high-vis vest versus partial, so we could point out the importance of the Class 3 vest.
Yeah, we brought light towers in and turned the light towers on afterwards, reduced some of the flashing lights. Like I said, we were able to capture a lot of stuff that I think is going to be very helpful, so you can actually see the difference, and it's at the same scene, so it's not from different areas or locations. One of the things we had captured that was real interesting was responders walking in shadows, and it's just something you can tell responders to be conscientious of at night to try to honestly stay out of a shadow.
And here, this here we brought, we had thermal imaging. If there's a need for that, this kind of gives you an idea. This is what you see utilizing our thermal imaging drone, UAS. So, it's just another piece that we can add. We're just like anybody else, we're in a very early stage of the UAS process, but this exercise gives us a great handle, and this research project with Ohio State University is for 1.5 years. So, we're looking at some other things that we can do to work with them, for future use as well. Next slide. Okay, good, Ron.
Yeah, actually, we've already had some preliminary talks. We're going to try to do a video on distracted driving, and we have some people interested in it. The drone is going to be able to provide funding for us to do that, but we will establish potentially a secondary crash or even a primary crash that was a result of distracted driving, and at the same time we'll be able to implement all the TIM strategies that are necessary to do that. And then we also were looking at possible like a prom night video. If we can put that stuff together, that's something that could be shared with everybody that can't actually hold an in-person or actual demonstration at a high school. They would be able to provide it and at least show it for kids. And we're hoping we capture some stuff out of this that could be incorporated into driver's ed. We got a little ways to go there, but that's one of the things we're working on too.
Okay, this is just some of our still shots that, we had people, we not only had the drone, obviously, we had photographers on the ground shooting all different angles as well. This is kind of how the scene was set up with the truck rollover. And like I say, one thing, and I will let Ron actually, because this is kind of his thing is we went through the TRIP program, our Towing and Recovery Incentive Program. Ron was put on the clock. Even though this was a made-up exercise, he had to get that thing uprighted, those vehicles out of the way, and one lane open within our recommended time, which was 60 minutes. And then needless to say, he got it done. But Ron, you had to elaborate on that.
Right. So, they responded to the wreck. They didn't call us right away, so they called us later, gave us time to respond, start the clock. And actually, we made this as realistic as possible. We had the cars jammed and wedged. We ran into a couple issues that you would have in real life trying to do a recovery, like the blue car was stuck on the semi because we wedged it in there too good. and but we were able to overcome them obstacles. But the idea was to create the timeline and show that within a reasonable amount of time we could get a lane open. And actually within 90 minutes, we had the thing uprighted, hooked up, and was clearing the scene once we were given the okay. Plus, we cleared the queue within that 90 minutes where the tractor trailer rolled over. But it took a lot of coordinated effort, and the idea is to demonstrate that if proper training, procedures, it can be done.
Okay, next slide. Okay, like I say, this year, just like I said, we have a ton. Tons and tons of video. You know, here it is. We got the one lane open. We're showing our traffic and our flagger letting traffic go by. So, and like I say, we didn't even scratch the surface of the amount of still shots and UAS video that we could use. Like I said, we had a tethered unit and 6 drones or 6 UAS in the air at one time.
And they actually flew a drone through the scene a couple times at eye level. And I haven't seen that video yet, but that's got to be pretty awesome.
Well, hey,
Yeah, they actually walked right through the zone with that drone, with the UAS.